how I lost 13 kg in 3 months. First of all, instead of doing crazy amounts of cardio, which I knew I could not stick to, I knew I could not sustain, I instead did steps. I want you to just stop thinking about the running that you do, the Stairmaster, whatever. I just want you to think about the steps that you do in a day. The reason is, let me quickly explain. So a lot of people think, first of all, that running doesn't cause you to be in any more of a calorie deficit because the rest of the day your body basically moves a little bit less subconsciously, and so you actually end up burning the same amount of calories if you didn't go for the run or if you did. But that's not completely true. But it's kind of true. But when it comes to steps, this doesn't happen. So if you just say you get 10,000 steps in throughout the day, right? Your body isn't going to subconsciously move a bit less or, burn less calories because you're not doing anything massive. You're not going for a massive run at the start of the day and burning all your calories then. You're spreading it throughout the day so your body doesn't just stop burning as many calories. It just burns the normal amount of calories throughout the day and it doesn't subconsciously try to move less, etc., to burn less calories to burn less calories. So the first thing I want you to do is just get out of your head that you have to go and do crazy runs, sprints, swimming, whatever, to lose weight. Cardio isn't exactly needed to lose weight. While it is pretty good for your heart health, it can be good for weight loss, etc. But just think about steps. Get 10 to 15,000 steps in every single day, and you will be putting yourself into a very good calorie deficit and you will be golden. Obviously, without actually knowing if you're in a calorie deficit, just going for 10,000 to 15,000 steps a day probably won't allow you to lose much weight, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So the first step to losing the weight like I did is, instead of going for the long runs, which are really hard to stick to, really a lot of friction involved in doing it, so very difficult to do, instead you just go on walks. So you go for maybe a nice walk in midday, get your 5,000 steps in, and then for the rest of the day you'll probably get another 5,000 steps in a day and you'll end up on 10,000. And I mean, it's really simple, really easy, it's enjoyable, and it is so easy to stick to. If you said to me, Theo, could you for the rest of your life go for a run every single day, a 5K run? I mean, I probably could, but it would definitely not feel nice. It would make my life a lot more difficult and I would not want to do it a lot of days. And yeah, it would really impact my life a lot, to be honest. And some days I just probably couldn't. So instead, if you said to me, for the rest of your life, Theo, could you just get 10,000 steps in a day? I would say absolutely. It is so easy. Just stick to that. Now, you need to focus on your diet as well. Now, we'll get to working out, etc., and building muscle, because that is still a bit of part of losing weight. I do think if you're trying to lose weight, you should still try to build a bit of muscle, just simply because it's going to look really good when you get really lean and you also have muscle mass. But anyway, you need to focus on your diet. Now, so many people talk about you need to eat 100% clean to lose weight. No, you don't. You just need to track your calories. Please just listen for a minute. I know you think tracking calories is this terrible nightmare. It's going to make your life hell. I promise you it won't. It is so simple, or the way I do it is so simple. All I track is my protein intake and my calories. And I don't even have like the apps like MyFitnessPal or anything like that. All I do is when I eat something, first of all, I found out my calorie maintenance. So I found out how many calories I need right now to stay at the same weight, right? And it will be something like 2,500 calories maybe. Then I just go 300 to 500 calories underneath it, depending on how fast you want to lose the weight. If you want to lose the weight a bit faster, 500 calories, but don't go any further than that, because you will be losing a lot of muscle and you'll just look a little bit ill, to be honest. So 500 calories or 300 calories, depending on how fast you want to do it. And then you just stick to that new calorie deficit. So say, for example, your total now is 2,200 calories every single day. You just go to your calculator app on your phone, put that total in, 2,200 every single morning, you put that in. Then throughout the day, when you eat, when you're hungry and you want to eat, you just reduce from that total what you've ate. So you go and have, I don't know, 5 eggs, you take however many calories that is, and then you go down to 1,900. Then you eat another meal, and then you're 1,500. Then you go down again, you have 1,000. And then at the end of the day, you'll be on 0. And you don't go into the minus numbers, because that means you're going over your calorie deficit and you won't be losing as much weight. A lot of people do forget, though, is that is going to allow you to lose quite a bit of weight, but it will get to a point where your body needs even less calories to maintain its current weight, and so you need to go further down your calories or increase your physical expenditure. So yeah, you'll have to maybe increase your steps, or you will have to reduce how much you're eating again just to carry on losing weight. So maybe, you know, you want to do it for a month just to lose a little bit of belly fat. That could genuinely work. You could just stay on those calories. But if you're doing quite a long journey, maybe 2 months of really quite vigorous weight loss, then you will have to continually reduce those calories just to make sure you continue to actually lose weight. Now, when it comes to your diet, I would personally suggest a high protein diet. I'm not saying you need to restrict any foods really, just get high protein in and try your best to eat as much of the clean whole foods as possible, because those are going to keep you feeling full up. So I did try for a long time during my cut to eat like literally 70% of the time the junk foods, but you genuinely can't do that because you just feel too full up. You don't feel very satiated. You don't feel full up. So try your best to eat the clean whole foods as much as possible, but sprinkle in those cheat meals. You can do it. I did it through my cut. I lost 13 kg and I was eating maybe 1,000 of my calories a day out of 2,500 was just junk food. So it's clearly possible to do, but if you can reduce it as much as possible, it will make your journey easier. Just simply because you will feel more full up, and when you're feeling more full up, you're less likely to overeat, okay? So that's what you need to do for your diet, for your steps. Now, when it comes to training, right? You don't need to do crazy workouts or anything like that. Just maybe get into the gym 3 times a week, do push-pull legs, and just train moderately hard. You know, don't go full out failure, especially if you're cutting, because you probably can't handle that. But just, you know, get a pretty hard, good workout in, train your muscles correctly, good form, progressively overload. And that means once you've lost that weight that you want to lose, you know, you'll get to a point where you've lost the weight. And instead of looking like, you know, you've just like lost weight because you've been ill or been sick, you lose weight and you kind of look like really good because you've built that muscle. So you might have added, maybe in 3 months, you might have added, you know, maybe a couple pounds of muscle. And once you've lost the weight, you know, that muscle is going to really show and you're actually going to look really good. And obviously in your first year, you're going to be building a lot of muscle. So yeah, the one thing I would say is if you are trying to lose weight, maybe consider getting into the gym also 3 times a week, hit push-pull legs, and you will build a lot of muscle, and you will, I promise you, you will be glad you did that later down the line when you've lost the weight. You will just look so much better. And to be honest, 3 times a week, it's not that difficult. An hour session, maybe 45 minutes, you can build so much muscle, I can promise you that. Now, that is all I really need to say about how to lose weight. I would just make sure that you do not restrict yourself too much during this period and create a very unhealthy relationship with food. I actually did do that for a long time. When I was cutting down for the first time I ever did a cut, I lost around 8 kg. And just to show you that clean eating doesn't always work, I lost the weight, which is great, but I actually put all the weight back on a month later because I restricted myself too much and my diet exhaustion was so high and I just binged for a month straight and I put all the weight back on. I put on so much weight that I literally I just called it a bulk and I just bulked. That is how much weight I put on. So this kind of moderate approach is so much better. Don't restrict yourself too much. Just get high protein in, have a few cheat meals here and there. It's not going to impact your progress too much. And if you're tracking your calories, you can fit those cheat meals in and you'll be completely fine. Like genuinely will. Now, just a disclaimer. My whole 6-hour long video playlist of me giving my advice on fitness, all of my knowledge on fitness is in the link in the description. It will teach you exactly how to build an incredible physique that everyone will be so jealous of. I can promise you that. It tells you how to build muscle, lose fat, maintain muscle mass, maintain your leanness. Every single question you could possibly ever have is answered. And to be honest, it is genuinely the only program I would ever give to the younger me, because it would actually allow him to make progress. Go and check it out. It will change your life if you listen to the advice in there. It is also me showing you how to do the workouts, showing you the form, and on top of all of that, loads of bonus modules that are really niche things that you're probably also worried about, and my exact diet and workout plan, which got me looking like this. So go and check it out, man. It will change your life if you listen. Go and check it out. Link in the description.